Okay, one more time. Probably going to need a thicker indirect percussion flaker. I missed. I got a wire hanging down in front of me right here, so I cannot swing out like I usually do. I got to kind of constrict my swings. So when I did that, I didn't hit with enough force. I should have been able to clear a lot of that off. Why don't they just move that wire? I wish I could. I've been trying to set up for this for about 30 minutes. I'm really taking a risk if I want to hit that junk there. I'm going to have to take back this edge like I was saying. Might as well start at the tip. Work my way down. Something to support my foot too. I need something to support my foot a little bit higher. Okay. Took that back just barely enough. Still a little bit risky. We'll see. Yeah. I might still be able to thin that down. Normally I would just change my strategy or change my goal for this point and make it much more narrow. But I'm going to try to get rid of that without losing too much width. For you guys that are in this similar situations. So normally what I do is if I see the edge is way too crushed and that material is way too nasty, I'll just continue napping it down until I get something much more narrow, and that way I get rid of that ugly stuff by just pecking at the edge that way and then this way, then that way, then this way, or zigzagging it. But I'm gonna try to get through that somehow. And normally as you gain experience, New guys don't realize this, but an experienced napper will not continue to work a bad area like a new napper will. An experienced napper will just move on and do something else. It's not really worth the time to work bad areas in many cases, whereas a new napper will keep attacking that same spot, or stick with the same strategy and not move on. And that's fine. Eventually you'll figure it out. It's best just to move on, but for those who want to see how you can actually stubbornly attack that, especially if you have limited material and you want to see how to maximize it, hopefully I can show you. Normally I don't abrade this much. Now that one, kind of dove in a little bit. It was trying to dive into the better material. I was hoping it would be able to take more of that lump off. Yeah, this material is very nice on that side. I have no trouble driving flakes on that other side. So I did lose some width there. I don't have my tape measure at the moment. I didn't lose that much width. I want to drive a nice big flake in here somewhere. And abrading a lot, it's kind of cheating, right? But you don't lose all that much width when you abrade a lot, and you get a very strong platform. So let's see what happens here. I have to get in a position where I can really drive this drive this flaker into the stone as hard as I can right through that area. Now that platform should be able to handle it. I just gotta make sure I don't hit that wire out here and don't hit my fingers. That wasn't too bad. Let's see. Again, not too bad, but not quite right. I'll have to try to finish it from the other side. It did get rid of a lot of that nasty stepped area. So you know what's coming next. I'm going to do this one right here. I was hoping that would get a little bit deeper, but oh well. I was hoping that would run into that step there from behind and make that less pronounced, but oh well. Yeah, I'm gonna probably need a larger indirect flaker. That way I can drive these long further. The point on this flaker is just too small. Although that did drive quite a bit there, so I don't know. You can never tell, right? Alright, it's time to clean up the edges and get serious about the final shape. That's acting a little funny near the tip. Okay. Time to clean it up a little bit, make it more regular. This looks like excellent material near the tip, but it's kind of steppy. Now, does heat treating even these out? Yeah, a little bit. It does even out the areas and make them more consistent. And it may have even, tamed this rough patch here. It could have made it very easy to nap through. But you never know. But in general, yeah, heat treating will kind of regularize many of these stones. Not all, of course, but many of them will become more regular as far as consistency. I use the term regular a lot. Like a regular, I made the edge regular, which means more uniform, less wavy, straighter. The cross section is more smooth, convex as far as convexity goes. Yeah, it's been a while. Haven't been thinking about napping. So yeah, when I've taken a break, I make some newbie mistakes. And one of them is I should have made another tool, intermediate size tool between, let's see, between my bopper here and the indirect percussion flaker. I need a tool in between. There's just too much difference in size as far as the tool tips go. I need something in between. But you know, as a new napper, you may not realize that, or you won't have that as part of your strategy. You just use whatever you have and think that's good enough, or whatever. But yeah, it's getting kind of small, so this will handle the smaller flakes. And that's pretty much what happens. Eventually you get to the size where your tools are able to handle what you're doing. Now this, I'm going to try one more time. This might step, but I'm going to try to drive another flake through that mass and see what happens. Yeah, much better than before. So with the smaller tool, I can do this kind of thing, and if I had a larger tool before this, I probably could have done that and saved some width earlier on. I'm going to lose some more length here, so I want to try to drive another thinning flake from the base. It's not too bad. I hope it would fan out more. But you can run fairly long flakes with steel. It just has to be good material. No, it doesn't have to be, but it helps a lot. I should know by now that trying to take flakes with a minimal platform is not going to work on at least not in this area. But for the final blade, I want this top to be flat, right? And then I'm going to have a little stem and the rest of the blade there. That area is working just fine. I'm getting into these areas that are steppy for one reason or another. That didn't work. Oh well. Yeah, when that happens, I'm going to have to make it more narrow again. Some of you guys could pressure flake it from this point, from this stage, and finish it out with pressure flaking, but I'm going to do some more indirect in a little bit. But I will switch to pressure and see how it goes. Not so good. It's a really pesky area there. Can't seem to drive any flakes through that. So I'm going to have to go very carefully. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but raw stone kind of has a different sound to it than heat-treated stone, at least with the steel. It's a little more tone-ish. It has a tone to it, whereas heat treat is dull. It has a flat tone when you snap off a flake. With a raw stone, you get more of a ting, like a tinny sound or whatever. With heat treat, you get more of a clicking sound. Although with the audio on this, it probably all sounds like clicking, but once in a while you might be able to hear that little ring. Like right there. little ring there. Kind of characteristic of raw stone. Okay. At least with that steel nail, I've noticed it. You're not going to notice it with copper or aluminum, or probably much else. Now that I think about it, you won't hear it with antler for sure. Anyway. This stone has a nice tone to it. Alright, so this is the final percussion flaking that I'm going to be doing on this to thin it down and get it to the right surface that I want. I'm going to have trouble with these steps here probably. We'll see. Yeah, it's going to get kind of narrow. So I really want to clean these areas up. It's useful as a knife if I just pressure flake the rest of it and leave it fat in the middle. It still can be useful, but I want to try to thin it down. Because that's what a lot of you guys want to see, of course. Okay. Start by trying to eliminate the step fractures first, if I can. There's not one on this side, but I see a lump. Okay, so the next one, let's just continue there for a minute. And I can abrade to go the other way. I'm just going to go down this edge a little bit, and then I'll abrade it and go down this edge, or that side. Oops. Now see, there's a step coming up. This next flake is crucial because it can get both this step and that area potentially. If I hit this just right, the flake could fan out and clear up a bunch of stuff. Nope, not that way. Not too bad. Now we're getting into the nasty area. I don't know. Let's see. Just a light strike here. I'm not going to be able to drive into that area, so I'm just going to thin down this edge a little bit. I might be able to drive a flake in between here, right here, and it could fan out this way and that way. But that's the next video.